to today's Community Family Challenge. I am Chef Debbie and I work at the college. I've been asked to set you a food challenge for you and your family to have some fun with. So you will need to create an object or a scene using just gingerbread. Your challenge is to use the theme of the seaside. Now you can be as elaborate as you wish, and you have 2 weeks to complete this challenge and post your photo online along with a card by the side showing Southend Adult Community College Seaside Gingerbread Challenge. Now to take part, all you need to do is register with the college. All details will be provided along with this video. Now the judging takes place after the closing date and the winner will be notified online and will receive a certificate in the post. So let's do this. Right, okay, so what are we going to need? Well, first of all, we need to get our ingredients together. So what have I got? In this bowl here, I've got 350 grams of plain flour. Now I've sieved this into the bowl already. I'm also going to need 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, and then the spices is 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and then I've got 2 teaspoons of ground ginger. Now if you don't like your gingerbread too hot or spicy, then you can cut back on the ginger, maybe just do 1.5 teaspoons. But if you do like it with a little bit of a kick, then I would maybe add an extra 1/2 teaspoon into your mix. Then I've got my butter, which is 125 grams, okay, of butter, and I've just cut that up into small pieces. Now I like to use unsalted butter, but you can use salted butter or you can use margarine as well if you wish. And then here I've got some dark soft brown sugar, okay, and this is 175 grams. Now you can use the light soft brown sugar, that will give you a lighter colour in terms of your gingerbread. That's absolutely fine, it's up to your personal taste. Then I've got 1 egg, and then the really sticky stuff, I've got 4 tablespoons of golden syrup. Okay, so let's get this all together. As I said, is in my bowl. So first of all, I'm going to add all the dried ingredients. So here is my bicarbonate of soda, so I'm just going to tip that in. Then I've got my cinnamon, so I'm just going to tip that in as well, and my ground ginger. In that goes, lovely. And I'm just going to give that a little stir, just to mix through those spices into the flour. Oh, it smells lovely. Almost reminds me of when you're making gingerbread at Christmas time. Okay, right, so that's the flour. So I've just mixed in all the spices into there. So now I'm going to add the butter. Right, let's just tip that in. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rub the butter into the flour mix, because what I want to do is make some fine breadcrumbs. So this is why I found it always easier just to chop up the butter at the very beginning, just to help make it a little bit easier to break up the butter like so. So here we go. So this will take a couple of minutes or so just to do that. So what we're looking at is fine breadcrumbs, or to keep in the theme of our seaside theme, it almost like grains of sand by the time we've finished. So while I'm doing this, so just thinking about what your design could be for your seaside challenge. You know, if you wanted to, you could maybe make a 3D beach hut, or you could perhaps pick something like, I don't know, how about making a seahorse, or a bucket and spade, or perhaps a starfish, or anything like that, or perhaps an ice cream. Whatever you fancy, you can make your design however you wish. And I've not put any limit on what you can do in terms of decoration for your gingerbread either. So what you can do is you can make up some icing. You can use sweets to decorate it, whatever you fancy. That's all going to be in there. So look, so here we are. Look, it's now breaking down nicely. It's nice fine breadcrumbs. Now for Southend, obviously we have Southend Pier. So if you really wanted to go and be really elaborate, you could make, if you wanted to, a 3D version of Southend Pier, or perhaps a Ferris wheel, whatever you like. At the end of the day, it's totally up to you. Okay, so here we are. These breadcrumbs are just coming together nicely. Like so. There we are. This is where you get really gungy with all your fingers. I love this bit. Just feel like I'm actually doing something, making something yummy. There we are. Right, okay. So now I've made my flour and butter into breadcrumb mix. I'm now going to add my brown sugar. And like I said earlier, this is my dark brown sugar, but you can use a soft light one, that's fine. But I like my gingerbread to have a little bit of a dark colour to it, so I'm just going to mix that in and stir that through so it's nice and even. Just mush those down. That's it. Little lumps in the sugar there. Let's break those down a bit. That's good. There we are. Oh, this is smelling really lovely now. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I need to make a well in the middle of my mix. So I'm just making a little hole in the middle of the mix, because what I'm going to do now is beat my egg. Give it a quick whisker. That's it. Just going to pour that in. And here comes a really sticky bit. Oh, the golden syrup. I used to like to lick the spoon of golden syrup, but I won't, not today. Okay, let's just tip this in. You have no control over golden syrup, it just does what it wants to. There we are. Lovely. All right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start with my spoon, and I'm just going to gradually mix that in together, because I think if I put my hands in there straight away, I think most of that golden syrup will probably stick to my fingers. So I'm just going to mix that in like so, just to sort of gradually put it together. And then the best bit's going to come up is when we get our hands in there and start kneading it. So this is beginning to pull, you can see there, it's just beginning to pull together nicely. Right, at which point I'm just going to take that off the spoon. Okay, in goes the hand. Right. Okay, so now I can really feel the dough mix coming together. I'm just going to mix that round, like so. And the idea is to sort of keep turning it around as you do, so you're picking up all the bits of the flour mix, and it's all gradually coming together. This is a good workout, this is. See, it's gradually coming together. Now, if you find, because sometimes with eggs, obviously they are different sizes. Now, I've used a medium egg for this particular recipe, but sometimes you find that some of the eggs can be a little bit, might make your dough a little bit wet, or even a little bit dry. So what you can do is you can add just a little bit extra water if you need to, just to sort of help pull it together if it's not pulling together. Or what you can do is if it's too wet, is just add a little bit extra flour. So don't panic if that happens, all right? Because at the end of the day, it will all come together nicely. And this is just what I'm doing now, is just take that dough off my fingers, get every little bit that we can. Okay, so the idea is that I'm making this dough, and realistically at the end of it, the bowl should be pretty much clear of all the dough mix. Let's have a little look. That's it, the last little bit. See? Okay, so what I need to do with my dough now is I'm going to wrap it in some greaseproof paper. Okay, this just helps it doesn't stick to anything in the thing, and then I'm just going to wrap it up like so. Okay, and then I'm just going to pop it into the fridge for about 20 minutes or so just to rest. I mean, you can leave it longer if you want to, but that's absolutely fine. Now with the gingerbread dough, once it's been made and you've let it rest, then obviously then you can roll it out, and I use plain flour to roll out my dough on. And then depending on what design you're making, you might have made yourself some templates, or you might have some cutters. So when you roll it out to about 5 millimeters in thickness, and then you can bake it on baking sheets in the oven. I normally do them roughly about 180 degrees centigrade, and that's about 12 to 15 minutes. But obviously if you have made larger pieces of gingerbread, it's going to take a little bit longer. And how do you know that your gingerbread is cooked when it's done? Is just give it the little finger press, okay, and if it bounces back, then you know it's cooked. Okay, so I'm just going to go and pop this in the fridge. So now that you've made your gingerbread, whether it's a beach hut or perhaps you've made a seahorse, whatever it may be, what do? Like I said earlier, you need to take a photo, upload it onto the website, and then don't forget to put your card by the side of it which states Southend Adult Community College Seaside Gingerbread Challenge. So, thanks for watching. See you soon.